Hello, this is Paige, and I'm here today to share my latest December daily album that I completed for 2016. This kit mostly came from the Ali Edwards Daily December kit, and some odds and ends that I added in from my stash. So I'm just using this elastic gold bow to kind of keep things all together, even though this year it's fairly compact and the spine is nice and big, so it held most of what I wanted to document. So this is to begin. I just had a bit of a title page that I took a wood veneer star and embossed it with gold embossing powder. Put the 2016. This is my reason why. I won't go through everything that I wrote there, but I always write why I do this project, just to remind me that during the busy season, I still find it important to capture the small moments that that my family and I create in tradition around the holidays. This year I used a very nice, just an open calendar. I'll try to remember who that came from. I'll put it in the video if I can remember. And then I just cut some acetate for dividers in half. This year I started with the 2x2 for my first day, and I wanted to capture close-ups of the entire family, including our new puppy Wrigley. So there's lots of pictures of Wrigley in this album. And then obviously on the other side I had a few more, especially of him or the boys with him. And I really loved these foiled circle stamps from Ali Edwards. I just printed them on the laser printer and then used my laminator, my foil machine, to make them into foil circles. So I really liked those. So then my day 2 was about my husband and I walking our new puppy, and I just added very simple embellishments to this card because I quite like that card on its own. Day 3 was about all of us going for a walk, and it was kind of a full Saturday, lots of stuff going on, so I just did a big journal page about that. Again, using those foiled circles just as a theme. And I did the funny kind of ask Siri what she's doing for Christmas and all the different answers that we got. On day 4, we had my nephew's birthday parties, so we gathered for that. Day 5, I went to a Stampin' Up! Card making day, so I just showed the cards that I made there. As well, I always do blessings, so I just used a little folder and I wrote about the blessings in my life. So I always like having that. Sometimes I do it as day 5, sometimes day 10. So that was nice. And then this year was a new tradition. We created a Christmas kindness jar. And as each of us did random acts of kindness during the month of December, we added little slips in. And then after Christmas, we took them all out and went through and read which acts of kindness we had done ourselves. And I kept a little envelope, just a glassine envelope, with all of our kindnesses that we had. So I really liked that new tradition we created this year. This was Wednesday, which is my son's soccer practice, so I just captured him doing that. And I like having a big 6x8 photo, and as well journaling right into the photo, so that helps just break up my handwriting that goes through. I went out for lunch with 2 good friends and wrote about what a blessing they are to me. And then I did just a thing on decorations. So I looked at the front of our house this year, and then I took pictures and put them into 2x2s in Photoshop of all the different decorations that I like in our home, and on both sides of this page, because there are lots that I love. The next page details us having our Christmas Santa photo done with our pet. So that was something new for us, and usually my boys refuse to have their picture taken with Santa, but this year, because Wrigley was the center of attention, they were happy to come along. I followed Jen Shao's inspiration of taking a cut from her tree and including it in the album. So I took a close-up of the customer service gentleman cutting the tree trunk, and then I did include it in my picture. This is just another simple one. I used one of Ali Edwards' digital files, the Marian Bright, to add to the picture of our Christmas tree, and I just put some ribbon there. And then these were photos of my boys helping to decorate the tree. This kind of went backwards and went back and showed when we actually bought the tree at the lot, but this is where it fit picture-wise. Sometimes that's what it's like with the pocketed. And that evening was my son's 13th birthday, so he had a few friends over, so I was showing what happened there with the birthday party. Next day, we had our family over to celebrate the birthday party. And that night we had kind of a fun thing that happened. And I don't know if this ever happens for you, where you're trying to, you want to record something, but you didn't have any pictures of it. So this happened for us. We all went into the hot tub after the party and the busy weekend, and it had just snowed. So my husband was daring the boys with feats of strength, we call it, and would dare them to go out and get out of the hot tub and go into the snow and make snow angels or do a somersault or roll in it, or etc. So because I didn't have pictures, obviously I didn't have my camera in the hot tub, but I really wanted to document that story. So I had a stamp that said "not shown," and I detailed what had happened during those funny feats of strength. The next day, Monday, was actually Liam's birthday, so we went out for wings and just got a funny picture of him taking a picture because he got a phone for his birthday. So this was kind of a big deal that he got that, and wings are his favorite. So next day I didn't really have much, so I just detailed all the cards. I participated in the Scrapbook Nerd swap, the card swap this year, and we got beautiful cards. And so this was them kind of laid out, and this was them stamped and addressed and ready to go. Then I did a day all about Wrigley, of course, because he's the center of our lives right now. So this was all about what his day looked like, how he sleeps in his water bowl, how he was loving the snow. There's a chair that we let him go on that he's not allowed on the rest of the furniture. And he fell asleep and rolled over and fell off it. So that was kind of a funny story. And the next day he had a vet appointment, so it was the first time meeting our new vet. On the 16th, we got lots of snow, so I did a picture about that and how beautiful it looked out of our backyard. I also did a segment or a little page about the Christmas decorations that I had made this year. Sometimes it's hard to have weekday things that are different, so I just have these stories like the decorations or these kinds of things that I make, or the Christmas cards that I include through those kind of slower days. Then it was back to the weekend, and we laughed because my youngest son and I went to the grocery store and had probably the unhealthiest grocery cart we've probably ever had, because we were buying things for Christmas baking. So we had to laugh about that. Came home and watched our favorite Christmas movie, which is Elf. So I was able to use some things that I had about Elf and elf culture and quotes from the movie. So next day, again, another big hike. And I know I usually have Starbucks cups, but this year my story actually came when I took a break on the weekend where I had dropped off my son at tennis and had kind of an hour and a half to kill. And I just went to a local Tim Hortons to have a cup of coffee. And there was just this lovely older couple there that I watched, and I told the story of them. At the same time, I was also reading my book at the time, so that was a spread about that. And then we did our gingerbread. So I had 2 pages, and this I kind of like is doing just something different, not in pockets. So I used a brown paper bag here to put a couple of our photos and highlight those. And wherever I do a half or a 3/4 page, I use these tabs so that it's easy to see that they flip over. So obviously in the next day I had to do something too. This was just about grocery shopping and my husband helping me because I had back surgery this year, so he helps to unload any big things like Costco loads. And then the next day we were headed to the Christmas market, Toronto Christmas market. My husband and I went for the first time this year to celebrate our anniversary, which is on the 21st. December's a busy month for us. And we had just a great time just taking pictures and going to the vendors and having a pub night. It was wonderful. So I have lots of photos about that. The next day, our actual anniversary day, what I did was I went back, which was an interesting thing to do. I went back through all our photos from the time we got married to having our children, when the kids were young, Disney trips we've taken when we flew in the helicopter over Arizona, the Grand Canyon. And I did a 2-page spread in the 2x2s about us through the years. So I really like that. I've never done something like that before, so I really enjoyed that new idea. This is just one of those funny things that happens, you know, where your kids leave a note on the fridge for you, and Liam was leaving a note for my husband to tell him that he needed a haircut and he needed this hot sauce. And so I just thought it was funny. So again, I did the paper bag idea. These were how all our baking turned out. And I kind of wrote about all the different baking that I did this year, which was a lot because I had more time. I was still home from my surgery. So, and these were the boys helping me cut out the shortbreads, which is a big tradition in our family. Then we always go to see the lights. There's a place near us where all the houses light up their houses. And so we went to do that. And then we also watched Home Alone. So that was kind of fun. And then this is Christmas Eve. We had my in-laws here for dinner. And the highlight for me was finding my youngest actually going through last year's December Daily album and on his own. I had it out on our coffee table and he was just looking through the whole thing. So to me, this is one of the albums my kids really enjoy the most. They go through it really thoroughly. So this is still the 24th. I did quite a bit for the 24th and got a picture of them leaving the stuff out for Santa, which is sometimes tricky. And then it's Christmas morning. So I had the big 25. I use different numbers, as you can see, all the way through. I don't use the same one. I like how it looks to have different colors, different sizes, etc. And tried to get pictures of everyone at Christmas, opening stockings, opening gifts. And then that night, everyone was so tired out that I was able to get pictures of the dog tired out with all the boys at various places at various times. And then I usually go to the end of the month, right to the 31st with New Year's Eve, but I didn't have much scheduled for the rest of the week except our family gathering on the 26th. So what I did, I had so many pictures from that day that I did a bit of a collage in Photoshop and did on both sides so that I would have pictures of everyone. And then I just talked about that gathering and how much we love it, and got a couple of cute photos of my kids. And then I did a little wrap up. So this was a really wonderful December for our family with me being healthy again. And we had so many nice gatherings with our family. So I just did a little recap about why this was a December to remember and what I enjoyed about it. And then I love this last card, all for you, happily. And I just ended it there. Thank you.